Welcome to Coffee Havoc number 2. I'm your host, Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is me putting up the stuff that I use. So I use my cap and gown to be the judge, and I'm going to explain to you Monday Night Monologue. Alright? So I've been thinking about how to do this because it hadn't been on for a while. You know, we had to put our dog to sleep, and there's been a lot of other stuff going on in my life. As you see in the first video, I talked about my book, American Kona Reach. So I have been busy, and there's been a lot going on with Felon 47, and I'm not happy with this fella, but there ain't a whole lot I can do about it. I didn't vote for him, and I like to point a few things out, but for now, we're not going to worry about Felon 47. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know, like I know, that I can't stand that bastard, and that's just the way it is. Alright? I'm not against you if you voted for him, at least not literally, but morally, I do have things that I like to say about that, but this ain't that video, because I'm going to explain everything you just saw. Alright, so the story is like this. Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man substituting for Peter Parker Spider-Man, because Peter Parker Spider-Man is in space with the Avengers, the X-Men, and I mean all the Avengers, East Coast, West Coast, and the ones in space, because they're fighting the Brood, the Kree, and they're fighting the Super Skrulls. And the Shi'ar Empire needs their help, pretty much, so since Miguel doesn't really know too much about the Shi'ar Empire, he's only been told he has one job. Substitute for Spider-Man until we get the fuck back. Now, in the incident, the Rhino from Earth 616, has decided to go on a fucking stomp spree. He's going to do the Manhattan Shuffle. So he's throwing through everything, and I wish I could have just did this with superhero toys, but I don't have the Rhino, and I don't have the Miguel O'Hara that I ordered yet, and I also don't have a Daredevil. So that kind of levels the playing field on who I don't have and why I can't do this. But anyway, the point being made is that Miguel O'Hara is not from Earth 616. He doesn't know all the rules. But New York is still the center of the universe, just like in Earth 928. Nueve is the center of the universe because they have their own X-Men, they have a Punisher, they have a Daredevil, they have all kinds of other stuff. Different timelines, but same concepts, you know. Now, getting that out of the way, I thought I'd have a little bit of fun with this because I have been watching a few TikToks, and it makes sense that you would think that New York would have most of the highest insurance companies around. You walk outside, boom, your car gets stepped on. Or you walk outside and a laser blows up your shit before you can even load the car with the kids. Next thing you know, some jackass is running through the goddamn street. You got some other asshole. Same thing with Gotham. Same thing with any other superhero city. There has to be some kind of damage that does affect normal people. I walked outside the other day, but Batman dropped the dude on my car. Or I walked outside the other day and Spider-Man literally picked up my Volkswagen and hurled it at the Juggernaut. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to be late for work. And he was like, I'm sorry, it was the only thing available. Maybe you missed the part of I'm going to be late for work. How am I going to tell my boss that you literally took my only transportation from Manhattan to Jersey because I work in Jersey? Yeah, most people who live in Jersey work in Jersey, but, sometimes you have people who prefer bright lights in big cities and they want to go work in Jersey. So, yeah, how am I going to explain it to my boss that I can't drive across the WB because I stopped to get coffee for my boss and and you took my goddamn car and hurled it at somebody that you're fighting in the middle of the streets. So this is kind of how I came up with the idea for Monday Night Monologue, to just be in court as a superhero and a judge and a jury. And it would be so much better if I actually could have just had other people play the parts, because that would have worked out a hell of a lot better than me trying to do all three parts. But hopefully you guys understand what's going on. I tried to keep the video short and simple because when you go into too much dialogue, you have to try to adjust. And when you have to adjust, there are things that you aren't going to be able to adjust to. Like at the same time, I didn't have a prosecutor. I needed a prosecutor, and I didn't do a prosecutor because I don't have any other disguise that I can use as a prosecutor, and I'm not going to draw like a mustache and a beard on my face to film a prosecutor. Have to wipe it off and keep going. There's something going on with my machine here. We're going to pop that out the way and pop this back up because clearly y'all can see me. I know my face went into shock mode. Anyway, the point being made is that if you're going to tell a story, you kind of want to be able to tell the story with the ability of telling the story. So Miguel O'Hara's in court because Rhino did the Manhattan stomp through Manhattan and decided to flip a bus. Now, to be factual, Miguel O'Hara and them, if you want to see their vehicles, you can just go watch Across the Spider-Verse, and you'll see that the people in his vehicle, lady and dudes, they reading books while they riding in the cars. Clearly, the vehicles drive themselves, and they fly. So that kind of added to the defense of Miguel O'Hara not being able to know, well, how am I supposed to know that shit? I'm not from your Earth. You know, my Earth's pretty much convenient. It's 2099, not 1999, but it's 2099, and everything is so futuristic that we're basically just lazy fucks. We don't need driver's license. We just own a car, and the car takes us wherever the hell we tell it to take us without so much as a fuss. You know, it's almost like a fucking Tesla. But I will never buy one because I don't support Elon Musk. But anyway, that being said, you know, the judge had to come to some conclusions, especially if he's biased. And a lot of judges are biased to people of color. Miguel O'Hara happens to be a Mexican and an Irish person, but the judge does not know what Miguel looks like because he's under the mask. As you notice, the judge has never asked him to remove the mask. But also, as a superhero, no superhero has to remove the mask. And good luck trying to remove the mask from somebody who's 10 times stronger than you are and can just break your fucking wrist when you go to touch them. Anyway, that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the Monday Night Monologue. I am sorry. I'm doing the best I can to keep up with y'all. But with the book being released and with other stuff going on in my life and my TikTok got hacked. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. I can't guarantee you a Monday Night Monologue next week, but I'll see what I can do. Just so for now, you'll have these like 6 scenes, which technically would be 3 scenes. But for now, you'll have something to entertain you until you don't. I will be making a couple more videos when I get back, depending on these damn children. And that's how this is going to be. Thank you guys for watching. I'm your host, Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Be seeing you.